Now, if you haven't watched the previous training video on absolute references, you want to watch that, otherwise this extension of it, called mixed references, may not make sense. Basically what a mixed reference is that it's taking a cell in a formula and saying, okay, of that cell reference, well, this one's D, column D, row 6, so it's D6, I only want part of that reference for the cell to be constant, and not both of them. Let me show you. I'm going to come down here. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and calculate the commission rate for quarter one for the north area. So we have our total sales for quarter one for all the areas, but broken down by the north. We're going to go ahead and type in equals and select the cell here and multiply, which is the asterisk, by the total sales for all the areas and hit enter. And then to go ahead and take a copy of that formula and move it down cell by cell, I can hover over the lower right hand corner till I can see the black cross, the autofill handle, and double click really fast, and it copied and pasted the formula, but I'm getting errors. As you recall in the previous training video, if you come down here and double click, you can see where the error is coming from. I mean, it's advancing row by row for that part of the formula, which is correct because we want to go down to the south, but the other part of the formula is advancing and moving away from the total sales for quarter one. It's now multiplying it by a blank cell, and that doesn't work. And then the next one down below, it keeps moving it down. As it moves down to 10%, this one also gets moved down to the text here. So when you multiply 10% by commission, the text, you get a value error. Then this one's 17% multiplied by the next one down, 300,000, and you don't get much of a commission. So we hit the escape key, come back here, and we say of the reference here, when we're moving within the same column, we want it to stay here on the same row, because as you notice when we move down, it didn't move outside of the column because we stayed within the column. So back to the formula here, let's come up here in the formula bar, and we want to tell it to stay, and there's the reference, D6, not in the same column because it's going to do that by default. We need to have it stay on that row, which is row 6. You can either type in the $, that's fine, or let me hit the back arrow to delete it. Click in front of D6 and just hit the F4 key a couple of times until it toggles through to give you the $, in front of the 6. That works. Hit enter and there you go. And then come down here. Now we can go ahead and copy and paste that down by clicking and dragging the autofill handle down, selecting any one of these, double clicking on it to make sure that it's referencing for the east its adjacent percentage, and then also still the total sales for quarter one. Fabulous, babes. Let's go ahead and hit the escape key. And now let's take that and copy it over to quarter 2, 3, and 4. So if you can quickly guess what's going to happen when I copy it over, it's going to update it from one column to the next because it's relative without us adding those absolute references, or in this case, mixed references. And then you can go ahead and take a quick guess what's going to happen. It's going to move it over column by column. For that part of the formula, that's great because it's going to move from this cell to that one, which is quarter 2, commission quarter 2. That makes sense. But because we don't have it set to stay in this column here, it's going to multiply the sales for quarter 2 by the commission for quarter 1. Let me show you. Hover over the lower right hand corner, click and drag and let go. And okay, again, anytime you get pound symbols, Excel's saying, look, because the column is so small, I'm not going to show you part of the numbers because then you may get erroneous thinking going, thinking, okay, when you hover over the cell, and you see part of it, maybe just the 7650, and go, oh, it's just 7,650 when it's a lot more than that. So it's not going to show you just part of it. Instead, it's going to put in pound symbols until you come up here in between the two column headers and click and drag and stretch it out far enough, or double click really fast to do an auto fit for the longest data within the column, and it's going to be the number here. So wow, double click on that, and you can see how it went over that part of the formula to the next cell, which is correct, but this other part should have stayed back here on the commission to take 12% and multiply it by quarter 2. So what do we need to do? Let's hit the escape key, come back here, and analyze it up here. So we want it to stay in column C, and that's where it's at right now, column C. So we want to go ahead and add a $, to say, hey, stay in column C. Then hit enter. Now that's really important that we add the mixed reference here, because when I click and drag over to the right hand side, well, first of all, it updates it correctly. When I double click on any one of these, it stays in column C. Hit enter. Then when I go ahead and select the range here, let me click and drag, and copy it down, and double click on any one of these, it's moving down accordingly, staying in the same column, and also moving over to the right, staying in the same row. So you may think to yourself, let me undo this and go, hey, you know what? It really doesn't matter. What if I just go ahead and add dollar signs to both? Let me go ahead and add a dollar sign. So now it's referencing permanently cell C9. Let me hit enter and then go ahead and take this and copy it over. It doesn't change the formulas, does it? No, because we're in the same row. But if I go ahead and click and drag that down, look at the numbers here. Because it's absolutely referencing that cell always and not a mixed reference where it says, hey, stay in the column but update when I go down, double click, it's always going to be referencing constantly that one cell when it should be moving down row by row. So let me hit the escape key and undo that. You can see the value behind mixed references where you don't say, hey, always focus on this one cell, when you just say, hey, when I copy over from one column to the next, stay in the same row, because it's going to do that by default. Or when I copy down row by row, stay in the same columns. So what we need to do is just to make sure that it's a mixed reference to say stay in column C, but by default we can get rid of the dollar sign for row 9, because when we copy over and we stay in the same row, I mean, it's not going to move, right? And then we can go ahead and hover over the bottom right hand corner, click and drag, and then double click. And because we didn't say reference that row always, we made it relative by not adding a dollar sign to it. When we copied it down, it went from one row to the next, so it can keep its numbers accurate here when it comes to multiplying this cell by cells for the third quarter to give us our commission. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.